For those of you who've been joining us before, welcome back. If we have some new visitors, welcome. We appreciate you being with us. The word of mouth interaction, our folks telling other folks about us. We appreciate that, and we hope that you'll enjoy this morning's glassmaking demonstration. So, this morning, Josh, who you'll see in just a few moments, we are going to be making a bunny, since this coming weekend is Easter. So we're going to be doing an Easter-related glass-making exercise where he will make a bunny. So, without further ado, let's come on up.
Let's get right into it, huh? All right. Hey, we got a couple visitors here. Announce yourself. Let us know who's on board. Okay, Lynn Bear, Joanna, hello. We can always count on Joanna. Yeah, great. And anyway, so yep, we titled this little episode "The Bunny Hop." We're going to have Josh making us a bunny. So he's gathered a little bit of glass out of our furnace. The furnace holds 400 pounds of what's called soda lime glass. There's actually over probably 1,000 formulas for glass, but the one we use is a variation of a soda lime glass, and that's what most glass artists use. It's got good workability. We have a good working time on it, glass, when it's pulled out of the furnace.
Why so many? Why so many, Bruce?
Why so many?
Why so many?
Just because they can. It's like
right?
Mount Everest. No, actually what's very interesting, we spent a good bit of time up in Corning, New York, and the Corning folks are up there, and what's really interesting is they have thousands of formulas for glass that their scientists have developed that have never been used. So we'll watch Josh gather the frit here. And since we're hung up for just a moment on this business of formulas, the glass that you use, or most of you use, on your phone is a type of glass that was originally developed, I believe, in the 1950s.
Was it the 50s?
I think it was either the 50s, it was a long time ago.
Long time. I mean,
Long time ago, for those of us born in 1950, yeah, it was forever. At any rate, they didn't have a use for it. And then all of a sudden, with the advent of computers, and then when we got to cell phones and things like that, we needed a special kind of glass. And darned if they didn't have a patent on it and sitting in the back room and ready to roll. So formulas are always being developed for these things. I think the same type of thing happened with the glass that they put into the windows of the original space capsules. I might be mistaken on that, but at any rate.
Well, the missile tip, right, for the nuclear missiles? That's made out of the glass that they accidentally found.
Yeah. So quite often scientists will just be fooling around in the laboratory and come up with something, and everybody says, well, what are we going to do with that? And they say, well, just hold on to it. It'll be valuable someday. And it was. So now what we've seen here, well, we got a little digression there, but hey, that's part of the fun of it. Josh first went into the white frit, the very fine grain over there that's a little furthest away from you on the camera. And then it looks like, is that a mix there, Josh, or is that straight?
Cranberry.
That's cranberry pink. So we're going to have a little pink bunny here. He's gathered it up on the glass. You can see it right there. And from that, he'll start working on shaping the bunny. He's going to gather over that, encase it with clear glass, and we'll get working on making the bunny shape here. So if you've got any questions about how the processes work, what's going on, that's what we're here for. Having a good time with it. All right, so back into the furnace with, as I mentioned, we melt about 400 pounds of clear glass in there. Right now, Josh is letting some of it drizzle back into the furnace. And watch this. it's still fluid enough that it'll drain right off of the end of the blowing iron, and that brings him back to just the amount that he wants for this piece. Now, at this point right here, which has only been what, maybe about another 10-12 seconds, that glass would not drain like that. If Josh were to turn that toward the floor right now, it wouldn't drizzle off. It would elongate a little bit, but it's already set up enough that he couldn't get rid of the excess glass. So that's how fast he has to work. And a moment ago, you saw him using one of the cherry wood blocks to shape the glass, and that helps get a nice uniform shape all around it, and also puts a little bit of like a skin on the glass. Solidifies it just a tad on the outside for a little bit of stability. He keeps making trips back to the reheating unit we call a glory hole. Right now he's using a really interesting tool, newspaper, with about 7 sheets of newsprint folded up and then wet. It forms a perfect insulator, and you can shape the glass with your hand, just like a potter would be able to shape their work with their bare hands. We can't quite do that, but the newspaper is a perfect insulator. So as I mentioned, this is the reheating unit over here. This is the glory hole. It runs actually hotter than the furnace. The problem we're trying to solve or overcome is the loss of heat when we leave the heating unit, come back to the bench and work. After about a minute or so of working the glass, we lose heat to the point it's not as malleable. So we go right back over to the glory hole, which is running at about 2300 degrees. Right now he's using a pair of metal blades called jacks. He's creating a place to separate this bunny from that iron that he picked all the glass up on. So this will be the base or the bottom of the bunny. And you can see from the tapered shape, he's already in the process of getting the shape to where he wants to form the figure of the bunny. So he probably had maybe a few seconds more than a minute, but not much there. And now he's back right over the glory hole, reheating again, getting the glass softened so that when he puts the hand tools to it, he'll be able to manipulate it. When he angles the glass down like that, it elongates. So if you take a look at it, you can see. Now, one of the characteristics of the glass is it wants to assume a spherical shape. So it will actually kind of shrink back on itself a little bit. So every once in a while, you may see a glass blower actually tip the glass downward to regain just a little bit of the length. So the 3 divisions that he has on that piece of glass now will be forming the head, the body, and the ears. We can also reheat just portions of the glass, or try to. You can see that he's got the glass pulled back out of the glory hole a little bit so that he's only or primarily heating the outboard ball. Now the thing about that glory hole is it heats everything that's in there, and it also broadcasts some heat out toward the piece. Right now he's using a pair of blades to flatten it. This is where the ears will be. And then he'll cut right between. He'll make a couple of cuts. And I'm going to step over here so you can see something interesting. See how the ears are kind of skewed right now? This is the same kind of thing you would see if you were to cut a piece of paper with a pair of scissors. With the one blade, it forces your paper up, the other down a little bit. So now Josh comes back and evens the ears out so that they're in the same plane. Seems like a perfect time for a Leslie Nielsen joke. Airplane? No? Okay. All right. So now he's got the ears formed. He's going to turn it over to Foster, who will reheat the piece a little at a time while Josh comes over, and he's going to use what we call a stringer or a small stick of cane. a black color that has been pulled out. And with that, he'll draw the features on the bunny. While he's getting ready for that and Foster is reheating, I'm going to show you real quickly this poster here, and then I'm going to talk about that for just a moment while we watch them work. We support a charity called No Kid Hungry, and we're making a series of cats. We call them the Maryland cats, and half of the proceeds for the purchase of these cats goes toward the charity. We'll show you a sample of one a little later on. Right now, Josh has preheated that piece of black. He's going to bring it down and let it touch the bunny, and this will form an eye. And rather than a cyclops, he's going to put two eyes on this bunny.
A side bunny?
A side bunny, yeah. Ooh, it could be a cyborg. Alrighty. He's using a torch right now that has as fuel a combination of oxygen and propane. And the oxygen provides, it helps it provide a lot more heat because the flame runs a lot hotter. If we were just running pure propane, it wouldn't be near as hot. So Foster will bring the glass back over.
And flip through the tail.
And here we go with the bunny tail. And if he'd used white glass instead of black, we could say, here comes Peter Cottontail. Alrighty, time for just a little bit more work on the face. I'll start getting out of the way so that Foster can go back and reheat that for him. And there we go. More detail work, Josh?
Yeah. Foster's idea. Like Foster.
That was just based on the other one that you had done with whiskers.
Ah, some whiskers.
Nice.
Okay. Now that's a really cute one. All right, and we can see that Josh is throwing his glasses on the floor, that he's done with that part. He actually uses special protective lenses that reduce the sodium flare that he's looking at when he uses that really hot torch. And now he's got his regular protective lenses on, which we wear all the time in the glass studio. Now just a little bit of inspection, some touch-up work, and then it'll be time to put the bunny in the annealing oven. And of course, we're not going to put the annealing oven, put it in the oven with that pipe attached. In just a few moments, Josh will put a little water on the jack line that he made at that joint. When he strikes the pipe, the bunny comes free, and Foster takes it over to the annealer. Away we go. Back over there is the annealer, and you have lots of colors of the thin glass you are using for details. Yes, Lynn. Actually, the thin glass that we use for detail was pulled out of a thick piece. So what we can do is take a piece about the size of a marble and get it hot, put it on the end of a blowpipe, and then just grab it and start pulling it. If we stretch a piece that's the size of a marble out to about 10 feet long, you get those thin lines. So let's hear it for Josh. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, thank you,
Way to
folks.
go.
Thank you.
Beautiful work. All right, so let's tell you a little bit more about the No Kid Hungry. These are the cats in the Maryland colors. They're a limited edition. They're signed and numbered. Tomorrow, March 31st, is the end of the ordering period. If you order by tomorrow midnight, we'll still make them. But after that, we're not going to make any more. They're $60 each. 50% goes to charity. If you're ordering from overseas, there's a little extra in shipping. But when you contact us at either artoffire.com or phone us at 301-253-6642, actually, you probably won't want to do that from overseas. So scotch that part. All right, let's go over here and take a look at a Maryland cat before we have to leave you. And this is one of the samples we have right here. And these are cats that were made pretty much in the colors of the Maryland state flag. And so Todd's been making these cats for a month now, and we've got quite a few of them already sold. I'd like to have you join the group. Now, this YouTube video that we do is kind of an appetizer, an aperitif, if you will, for the 2-hour show that we do on Facebook Live, and that'll be coming up in just about 15 minutes or so. So we do that show for 2 hours, and today's theme is going to be also centered around springtime. Berries in the Shed. Barry, where are you from? Because I think I remembered that name from our broadcast last Saturday. So we'll hang on here a minute and let Barry have a chance to answer us. At any rate, today we'll be making another bunny. We'll be making some eggs, and some very large, beautiful eggs, some flowers, and let's see, a jack in the pulpit, and a bird. So we're really getting into the springtime spirit here. So if you'll join us there, we'd be happy to have you. And I haven't heard back from Barry, but maybe we'll catch up with him later on that. So from the Art of Fire, have a great day, and please join us in just a few minutes on Facebook Live. Bye-bye.